The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, shout out to everybody out there. If you celebrate Halloween, happy Halloween. It's October the 31st. It's the last live of the month. We've had a lot of lives here on the channel. We spent a lot of time on the channel this month, and it's been a hell of a month here in October. And last night I had a chance to watch Jaron Ennis in person, and that was something special to watch. And I've had time to process it. So look, if you're just tuning into the live, definitely take the time to subscribe. Definitely take the time to support the channel, man, and just give me your thoughts, because I mean, there's quite a lot I want to talk about. There's quite a lot I want to talk about as it pertains to Jaron Ennis. Let me see. Give me one second, guys. I'm still kind of getting set up here, but I hope everybody's Sunday is good. This is one of those rare, one of those extra rare Sunday lives. Normally I don't go live on Sundays, but I figured, you know what? Let's go live on Sunday. Let's talk about it, because there is a lot to talk about, man. So, yeah, last night I had the honor and the privilege. Let me sit up. I had the honor and the privilege to be in the building last night at the Mandalay Bay to watch Jaron Ennis do his thing, and there really wasn't a whole lot to process. I mean, he got a knockdown early against Dulorme. The first one landed on the ear, right? The first one landed on the ear. Some people were saying it was in the back of the head. I didn't think it was in the back of the head. I think Dulorme dipped, and his ear was right there, and Ennis caught him with a great shot on the temple, and that dropped him. Dulorme got up. Boots showed a lot of patience, didn't rush his shots, and eventually got him out there with a very solid straight left hand from hell. So it wasn't a long fight, but he packed a lot into that fight. There's a lot of things you could have learned about Jaron Ennis, and you could learn about the style of Jaron Ennis just from that fight alone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was just absolutely a great, mature performance from a great, mature young fighter. And look, man, he called out all the big names. I mean, he called out all the big names. He wants to fight Terence Crawford. He wants to fight Errol Spence. He wants to fight these guys. And truthfully speaking, look, we talk about the rankings. He gets knocked out a really good veteran, a solid veteran in the welterweight division in Dulorme, a guy that's been in there with all the names. From guys like Crawford to Jesse Vargas. That's two former welterweight world champions. Went 6 rounds with one of them before it got stopped. And took the other one to a draw. But when we look at the 47 division, right, the welterweight division, this great division of the welterweights, Jaron Ennis is ranked highly in all these sanctioning bodies: 6 in the WBC, 5 in the WBA, 3 in the IBF, and number 5 in the WBO. He's ranked. So all this talk about, he's high risk, low reward. No. He's not. Yes, he's high risk. But if you're a contender, if you're someone that's in the top 10, top 15, you can't say that he's low reward, because by way of beating him, you're going to be a fighter that cracks the top of the rankings. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is there. But listen, man. By the way, shout out to my guy G's Up. Shout out to G's Up. He says, "What's cracking, True? What's good, champ? Good to see you. I'm good. Just enjoying my Sunday." Sitting here, got the football game in the background, talking to you guys. It's a beautiful Sunday. G's Up says Ennis is like a pretty boy Floyd with power. I could see that. I could definitely see that. My comparison was more of I was saying he's a smaller, more fundamentally sound Roy Jones Jr., but I could definitely see what you're saying too. Nathan Carey, shout out to you out there in the UK. He says Eric Molina is the bum of the month. Yes, I actually had a chance to catch that fight with Alan Babbage yesterday. I didn't have time to make a video on it, but man, you talk about falling off. You talk about shot to bitch. You talking about a lot of miles on the odometer. I mean, that's Eric Molina in a nutshell. That guy is not fit to be in a boxing ring, and he made Alan Babbage look like Mike Tyson out here. So just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But listen, I'm gonna come out to you guys like this. Actually, no. Before we get to the main idea of the live, I wanted to get to Thomas Dulorme, because apparently, Thomas Dulorme, Ismail Salas, the team of Thomas Dulorme, they've actually went ahead and they've actually filed a protest with the Nevada State Athletic Commission over the Jaron Ennis punch that they believe was to be in the back of the head. Now, I was there. I've watched the replay quite a few times. I've been such in awe of this performance. at the fight and since the fight that I went back and I've watched this a million times. I've watched it a million times, and I don't see how on God's green earth, I just don't see how on God's green earth that was a illegal punch. You know, he landed it clearly. Dulorme dipped his head, and he got caught on the ear. It was a beautifully timed shot by Jaron Ennis. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really see it like that. Dulorme, you know, he's a true veteran of the sport. He's a true warrior of the sport. He fights everybody. You know, I'm not going to sit here and disrespect him because he was man enough to step in the ring with Jaron Ennis. But you know, take your loss like a man. Like take your loss like a man. Move on. Go to the gym. Get better. Don't try to throw salt in the wounds of Jaron Ennis because you know he got you out of there on the round. You know, I think his protest with the Nevada State Athletic Commission is very uncalled for. But hey, you know we'll see what happens. I doubt anything will come of it. I seriously doubt that anything will happen when it comes to you know the protests and all that stuff. You know. But listen, man, and I see a lot of people in the comments now. We got my man Rico Ransom. Shout out to him. He says, "Where is it?" He says, "I usually agree with you, BT, but I don't know yet. Maybe I need to binge watch Boots a little bit more before I give my opinion. I would highly advise that you do that. You know, I would really highly advise that you watch at least 3 to 4, 3 to 4, maybe 5, if need be. Draw and before we talk about anything else. You know what I'm saying? Jaron Ennis is a special 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 talent, and like a lot of people that think that I'm exaggerating when I say that you know I, all the fighters that I've actually seen fight, all right, can y'all hear me now? I don't know. I don't know what happened, man. I have no clue what happened with the computer. or why it was doing that, but StreamYard was tripping. Can y'all hear me? Am I clear? Am I clear? Let me make sure my phone freaking died. Then I was trying to check it, and then I had no clue what I look like. But yeah, we back, man. We back. My good. Can y'all see me? Somebody in the comments, let me know if you can see me. All right, it's better. Cool. But yeah, no, I was just saying, man, Jaron Ennis is a special talent. I was gonna get to Rico Ransom's comment because Rico had a lot to say about what's going on with Boots. But he said, I usually agree with you, BT, but I don't know yet. Maybe I need to binge watch some fights. Yeah, you should. You should really do that because Jaron Ennis is something to watch. Listen, I remember a while ago, I did a video about Boots, and I basically said that he's the most skilled welterweight on earth. I didn't say he was the best, and I didn't say he was the number one welterweight because obviously, in order for him to do that and earn that kind of claim, he's got to beat the top guys, like Spence, like Crawford, like all these guys. He's got to beat these guys because if he doesn't beat these guys and he has all these skills, and the skills are good for nothing, he's got to eventually get the fights. Now, it is worth noting that Jaron Ennis is not officially an Al Haymon fighter. A lot of guys think that he's an Al Haymon fighter. He's not an Al Haymon fighter. He just has a working relationship with Al Haymon. But I do think it's getting to that point where he will be an Al Haymon fighter. Like he will sign with Al Haymon at some point. And then when that day comes, when you guys finally hear that Jaron Ennis has signed a promotional deal to become a PBC fighter, then that's when we're gonna see all the fights. We're gonna see him again there with the Spences and the Porters and just anybody under that umbrella. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But H Money, what's good, champ? What's going on? It's your boy H Money, Mr. DAZN. Make sure you guys go subscribe to H Money. He says Teofimo Lopez is the undisputed champion. Tio, the takeover. And yes, H Money has come to the light. It took him some time. Sometimes it takes people a little bit longer to come to the light, but he's come to the light, and it looks like he's done a full 180. He's done a full 180. He went from going Haney to Tio. And yeah, listen, man, he's a Teofimo Lopez fan now. He's got, doing great interviews, doing great work, doing great live. So make sure you guys go to his channel. Make sure you guys definitely tune in November 27th as Teofimo Lopez finally makes his long-awaited title defense against George Kambosos. So it is what it is. Shout out to him. Ordinary Pete, what's good? We see you, champ. He said he got his True School Sports shirt in the mail. He said it's comfy and the logo is clean. Absolutely. Diego, what's good? My guy, Diego, one of the Canelo fans that I interact with on a day-to-day basis. He says, can y'all hear me now? That was funny, bro. Yeah, I don't know what it was, man. StreamYard was lagging. I'm moving in fucking slow motion. They trying to get me beat. They trying to stop the boxing world from getting this work, from getting this boxing knowledge. So, we had to stay composed because sometimes I get pissed off when I have technical difficulties, but we saw it through and we're good now. Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. What is your prediction? Boots is cold, but Virgil is colder and has faced better competition. So Diego says he not buying it. He not buying it. I don't know, man. I like Boots. I think of the current guys that are already campaigning at 147. I like Jaron Ennis against the field right now at 147. Now, Slugfest asked me a good question. He said, do I think Josh Taylor can beat Boots? I've told you once, I'll say it again. Nobody's safe from Josh Taylor at 47. He's not even Boots. Boots is great. I love Boots. That's a pick 'em. I would probably say, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm having a hard time keeping the same energy. I'm gonna keep it above with you. I'm having a hard time keeping the same energy after how I saw how he dispatched Dulorme last night, because people can say what they want about Dulorme. Oh, he's this, he's that. He's got 5 losses. He's trash. The normal things that boxing fans like to say when they want to discredit somebody's victories. But Dulorme, nobody's done that to him. He's one round. Come on, man. 2 knockdowns in a round. The way he did it, it wasn't just the fact that he got the knockout and then he got the knockdowns. It was the way he set it up. It was the precision. It was the patience, the maturation, the maturity. He showed a lot of things in those 2 minutes or at however many seconds that fight was. It was a great performance. And listen, man, I'm gonna say this. Josh Taylor and Boots, I highly doubt that fight will happen, but I'm having a hard time. I'm being honest with you. I'm having a hard time keeping that same energy, because Josh Taylor's great. Love Josh Taylor. Jaron Ennis is something special, man. I don't know. They're both. I think Josh Taylor's pushing about 5'10". Boots is about 5'10". It'd be a good fight. I want to see it. I want to see it. But I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this, man. I'm gonna tell you this. All right. Y'all know how much I love Terence Crawford, and I've been a big Terence Crawford supporter for a long time. Terence Crawford, one of my favorite fighters. I think Terence Crawford gonna beat the shit out of Sean Porter come November the 20th, and I'll be there for that fight. But I gotta call a spade, man. I gotta keep it a buck. Jaron Ennis is the man to beat Terence Crawford. If Terence Crawford's still around, and politically, if that fight could ever come together, I think he's the guy to beat Terence Crawford. I mean, he's got the right amount of speed, power, athleticism. He's got everything. He's got, like when you like if you guys went to the lab and you went to create a boxer with, like, for those of you who play like FIFA and for those of you who play like NBA 2K and all these sports games, if you went to the lab and you created a boxer, he would literally be Jaron Ennis, because he's got, when you get A-level, A+ athleticism and you get A-level, A+ fundamentals and they meet at their highest peak, you get Jaron Ennis. And then on top of that, he's got those things and he's still humble. He's still, a guy that's very disciplined in his work. He's just a special fighter, man. And I know people might say it's premature, but I think I have a pretty good track record of knowing when I'm watching a great fighter. And he keeps doing what he's doing, and he'll be a great fighter in no time. I really think he's a stylistic problem for Terence Crawford, because you got to think about it. What are the strengths and weaknesses of Terence Crawford? Well, his strengths are that his versatility is always a strength. The fact that he could box as an orthodox, that he could box as a southpaw. These things always are what gives Terence Crawford the advantage over his opponents. He's not going to have that advantage over Boots, because Boots can box just as good as an orthodox fighter as he can as a southpaw. You know what I'm saying? And the athleticism. Jaron Ennis might be the only fighter at welterweight, one of the only fighters around those weights that's just as athletic, if not more athletic than Terence Crawford. I just really feel like it's the one fight where I can look at a fighter's strengths, weaknesses, and I can see that in most of the departments, Terence Crawford has a disadvantage in. You know what I'm saying? That's how skilled and that's how good this guy is. Like, I want to see that fight happen so bad. Just granted, Crawford can get past Porter. In a perfect world, Crawford's Top Rank contract is up after that fight. So if Crawford signs with PBC, I feel like that fight could be a lot more realistic, and I want to see that fight really badly, because I really think that Jaron Ennis could beat anybody at welterweight. But shout out to everybody here, man. Diego says, I'm gonna head out to Vegas on Friday. I hope I see you there, BT. Well, listen, you got my Instagram. All you gotta do is hit me up in the DM and let me know where exactly let me know where exactly you are in Vegas, and I'll meet up with you, champ. And that goes for anybody out there watching this live or that will watch the playback. If any of you guys are gonna be in Las Vegas for the Canelo Plant fight week or the Porter Crawford fight week, let me know. Get me on the Instagram at Just a Kid from Dania. Message me on there and just let me know that you're going to be in Vegas, and we'll set it up. Maybe you could even get on the channel. I could interview you. Slugfest says Boots is a way better switch hitter than Bud, because Boots is actually ambidextrous. That's a good point. Crawford's a guy that learned how to switch hit over time. Most people don't know that, but he learned to switch hit over time. He's been doing it for so long that people kind of forget that fact. But listen, when we talk about Jaron Ennis, we're talking about a guy that comes from a fighting family. Like, he ain't the first fighter in his family. His trainer and his father, Boosie Ennis, he was a fighter. His brothers, I think he's got like 2 brothers, they were both fighters. This is a kid that literally grew up in the boxing gym before he probably learned his math, before he learned his timetables, and before he learned how to count money, and before he probably learned what colors were in the Crayola box. This boy was in the boxing gym perfecting his skills, and he had boxing gloves on. He's one of those. So, that's why when he's in that ring, he looks so comfortable. You don't see him rush things. You don't see any of those things, JD Vlonka says Crawford says he's smarter than Ennis. I believe the only chance Ennis has is if Crawford gets older, and that could be the case. I want to see these fights, man. The welterweight division has no shortage of good fights. Give me another second, guys. Hold on. I gotta turn the light on because I'm not liking this lighting. Hold on. We gotta tighten up. We gotta tighten up, man. It's a Sunday live, so y'all gotta forgive me. It's a Sunday live. I don't normally do these Sunday lives, so I'm not really as prepared as I normally am. But gotta tighten up that lighting because I'm too damn dark. It looks depressing. You can't be on these lives and look freaking depressing with the lighting. So we got some damn lighting going on in here. It's Sunday. We're watching the Buccaneers Saints game right now on the background while I'm talking to you guys, and we checking the temperature of the boxing world. I'm gonna tell y'all this too. Last night when I got out, I'm gonna tell you guys a story from last night. So when I got outside the Mandalay Bay, I was walking back to with one of my friends to his car, right? Because I went to the fight with one of my friends here in Vegas. So we're walking back to his car, and I see this dude just walking right with headphones on, and I could kind of recognize him. So like after like 2 or 3 seconds of looking at this dude that was walking on the sidewalk where I was at, I realized that it was Lionel Thompson. Yes, that Lionel Thompson, the same Lionel Thompson. Lonnie B. Thompson, one of the best super middleweights in the world. A guy that beat Jose Uzcategui in his one and only fight at 168 and been pretty much frozen out of the boxing game. Benavidez don't want to fight him. A lot of the promoters won't let their guys fight this guy. We did a great interview last night, probably one of the best interviews I've ever done. So be on the lookout for that. The interview with Lonnie B. Thompson coming out sometime this week. Slugfest says Boots' brother Pooh Ennis was actually the main spar partner for Canelo when he was getting ready for Shea Mosley. See, you put me on game. I didn't even know that. I knew that Pooh. I know that Pooh was Pooh. Now look, y'all gotta correct me because I might not know this, but I know one of Jaron Ennis's brothers fought Gary Russell. I think it was Gary Antoine Russell, and I heard he lost to him in the amateurs. Is that true, or was it Boots himself? Because there's so many brothers. I be getting people confused sometimes. Rico says the welterweight division is stacked for sure. You damn right it is. Last night, I don't know if y'all saw this, but last night they had Blair Cobbs. Blair Cobbs was there ringside, and Blair Cobbs called out Jaron Ennis. He pulled up on Boots and the whole team and the whole squad. He said he want that smoke, and he brought the personality out of Boots. Boots pretty much said, "Hey, this ain't wrestling. I'm not there to play with you. I'm going to punish you if we ever fight." So. Maybe that could be a matchup. I don't think Boots fighting Crawford or Porter or Spence next is very realistic. I don't even think him fighting Virgil Ortiz is realistic next because that's a future super fight that both promotional companies, all teams involved, all parties involved, they're gonna wait. They're gonna wait before they're gonna wait until that fight can maximize the revenue before they even make that. So that's not even realistic. But I think. 2 realistic fights that you can make for Boots right now are Butiev, who looked good, who looked brilliant in the main event against Jamal James, got a good stoppage, was a very good workmanlike performance where he eventually broke down Jamal James and got him out of there. I love the way he performed against Jamal James because Jamal James let Butiev close that gap on him. So anything he could find, whether it be the shoulders, the biceps, the stomach, the chest, anything Butiev could find to hit, he was hitting Jamal James there, and he eventually got the stoppage in the points added up and look really good, man. That'd be a good fight because he's now the WBA regular champion. So he beats Butiev, he's in position for a title shot, and that'd be good for him. You know what I'm saying? Diego says, I think the lightweight and welterweight division are the strongest divisions. I just hope they all fight each other at the end of the day in both divisions. Listen, man. With all disrespect to the lightweight division, fuck the lightweight division. Nobody fights each other. It's the division with all this talent. It's the division with all this talking and bravado and Twitter talk and Instagram talk, but nothing really happens that much in the lightweight division, But I agree with you. It's a very talented weight class. Does Conor Benn have a chance against Jaron Ennis? Absolutely not. No way. And Conor Benn, I actually interviewed. I interviewed the last time I came here to Vegas, which was May or June. The last time I was here in Vegas, I actually interviewed Conor Benn, and I asked him about those fights. And he told me, he said himself in the interviews that he's not ready for Jaron Ennis and that he's still got a long way to go before he's ready before the Jaron Ennis's, Virgil Ortiz's, or even the Rashidi Ellis's of the world, if Rashidi Ellis ever starts boxing again. So, no, I don't think he's ready, and neither does he. So, Sean Newman, what's good, champ? Boxing with Sean. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Boxing with Sean, one of the OGs here on YouTube, been here for a long time. He says, Boots is going to be Spence's Mando before Bud. He is, because he's number 3 in the IBF. And I think that's more of a realistic fight because he already has that working relationship with the PBC. But just for me, Sean, as a fan, from the fans' perspective, I love the Crawford fight because, you know, to me it's the two most skilled welterweights that we have to offer right now. Two of the best. It was Boots, but one of those Russell fights was a robbery, and that's the only person to ever beat Boots. The score is really 2-1 Boots. All right, so I'm gonna have to check that out because Gary Antoine Russell, he's one of these fighters that gets lost in the shuffle sometimes of the good young fighters. You know, he last time I saw him, he had a really good performance against Giovanni Santiago. Look amazing against Santiago, but he still got to step up and he still got to do his thing. The only flaw I see in Boots is that he takes too many punches. I think he's fine defensively, but you know he does get hit with some shots sometimes. Like I saw last night, even when he had Dulorme hurt, Dulorme grazed him with a right hand. You know, so listen, he's still like what 24 years old. I know he's got like 28 fights, but he's still 24 years old. So I feel like the more ring experience he gets under the lights against better competition, the better he's going to become as a professional fighter. But listen, man, I'm giving him that crown. The same crown that I gave to Teofimo Lopez back in January of 2019, when Teofimo Lopez was a prospect and was still working his way up. And back then I said, look, Teofimo Lopez is the man to beat Lomachenko. And I'm giving Boots that same title. Jaron Ennis is the man to beat Terence Crawford. Now, whether that fight can happen politically or not, that's another discussion. But I think if it does happen, you know, I think he's got a great chance to beat him. Oh man, Sean Newton says Plant is going to get beat. He's not on that level. Hey, I disagree with you, Sean. Listen. I think stylistically it's a good fight for Plant, and I think it'll very much be a competitive fight. I'm going with the upset, you know, but I'm not going to be the least bit surprised if Canelo wins. Canelo's a good fighter, and Canelo's an experienced fighter, but I'm gonna go with the upset. You know, should be a good one for as long as it lasts. You know, whether it's whether Plant stops Canelo or Canelo stops Plant or you know whether it goes 12. I think it's a good fight. It's one that I'm very excited for. You know, it just walking around Las Vegas because last night I had a little bit of time after the fights to walk around the strip. Fight week hasn't even started yet, and it just has that big fight feel. Like I feel like I'm gonna witness and be in Vegas for a big fight. You know, there's signs everywhere on the MGM Grand, on the Strip, at the Mandalay Bay. You know, it really just feels like it's gonna be a big fight. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing the build up. I'm looking forward to seeing everything. And listen, I've been consistent with my prediction. I have my official breakdown video coming out probably either. I'm going to say Tuesday or Wednesday it should be out. I haven't shot it yet, but Tuesday or Wednesday, look out for the video. Will Boots be the next Shakur Stevenson beating Jamel Herring? I don't know, man, but I'll tell you this. If Shakur, I don't think Shakur and Boots' paths will ever cross. I don't think their paths will ever cross, but if they do, that'd be an interesting fight. You know, I don't think Shakur would beat a guy like Boots because Boots is too damn big and he's too skilled, and you know he's the size, the fundamentals, and the athleticism. Like he's got everything you want in a fighter at its highest level. You know, and I see my man, I see my guy here, Christian. Shout out to Christian. He says, "BT, I told you. In our first live feed that Boots will beat Crawford. You didn't agree then. What's changed your opinion if it did change?" Last night, man, being at the fight. I mean, I was there at the fight. I was expecting. So, like, look, going into the fight, I didn't think the outcome was ever in question. I'm not gonna sit here and act like he beat the odds and he beat this fighter that, you know, he wasn't supposed to beat Dulorme. Dulorme was who we thought he was. He was a guy that was, you know, solid fringe contender, experienced fighter, a guy that was outgunned and outmanned in every department, but a guy that has gone rounds and in some cases taken former welterweight champions all the way to a draw. Dropped Jesse Vargas, okay? Jesse Vargas not a bad fighter. Won 6 rounds with Crawford, okay? Obviously, you can make the argument that Dulorme was fresher when he fought Crawford, but still, nobody's done that to Dulorme in that fashion. So, seeing last night just how he handled Dulorme, how he set him up, how he broke him down, how he processed so much information in such a short amount of time, I'm starting to see what you're seeing, man. I'm starting to see what you're seeing. Obviously, Crawford's a great fighter. I think Crawford Boots is a great fight, but if there was a guy at welterweight that I would say that this guy is the guy to beat Terence Crawford, I gotta give him that. I gotta give that to him. I don't. We've seen Crawford in the past. I love Crawford, but we've seen Crawford in the past. He's got hit by Kavaluskas, been taken to some deep, dark, uncomfortable places. He's got hit by Gamboa, been taken to some deep, dark, uncomfortable places. Jaron Ennis is not them guys. He's a whole nother level as far as his frame, as far as the way he sets up shots, as far as his boxing brain in the ring. So I know you don't want to use the triangle theory, but because things change from fight to fight, but Jaron Ennis has all the ingredients to beat him. Mike Rim says, BT cut the bullshit. He said, I'm real impressed beating a guy coming off of 2 losses. Well, listen, hey, it's very easy to say that he gets beat a guy coming off 2 losses, but you got to look at the context of those 2 losses. Yeah, he had 2 losses, but look at those losses in their proper context. Now, the loss before he fought Boots, he fought Emmanuel Styonus, who a lot of people thought that was a close fight, and he gave him some rounds, took him the full distance. Thus far in the career of Styonus, I don't believe there's a lot of guys that could really claim they're taking in the distance. In fact, only 4 guys have made it the distance with Styonus in 13 fights. So, he showed durability. He showed that at his age, at this stage of his career, he's still a good enough of a fighter to give some of these guys somewhat of a test. Same thing when he fought Jamal James. He gave Jamal James some good rounds in that fight. He's only 3 years removed from taking Jesse Vargas to a draw. So yes, we know he hasn't been a world beater. I'm not sitting here acting like Jaron Ennis beat the odds last night, because he didn't do that. But you have to look at not just how he beat him, not just the fashion he beat him, but just look. I'll give you guys an example, right? We watch a lot of fighters. Like we've seen like a guy like Deontay Wilder. He'll get guys hurt a lot of times, and sometimes he doesn't show that extra bit of quality or the patience to get these guys out and set up his shots, and he gets criticized for that. But then you get a guy like Jaron Ennis at 24 years old who's got that kind of patience, and he's putting these guys away. He gets you hurt. If he gets you hurt, you might as well just pack up and go home. What I can say about Jaron Ennis, if you look at his career, right, so far, he's had 28 fights. He's been beating the brakes off pretty much everybody he fought, but he's never gone past 6 rounds. He's been showing such quality in his fights that nobody's taken him 6 rounds. The only guys that have taken him 6 rounds or more have been like Marcus Beckford, which was like 2016, James Winchester, which is like the 2016. More recently, you've had guys like Lipinets take him 6. You had Abregu take him 6. But that's really it. So if you look at, for a second, I want you guys to just forget about the knockouts, forget about all that stuff. In 28 fights in the professional ranks, I know you guys can say, well, he ain't fought nobody, whatever. But in 28 fights in the professional ranks, he's only gone 6. He's only entered the 6th round 4 times. So he's showing consistency fight by fight. And we see a lot of times fighters, the consistency drops. Sometimes fighters, they might fight well against a better opponent, but then it drops. And for him, it doesn't work that way. I'm just saying, all of a sudden, everybody can beat Spence like he's been slipping. Spence got a lot of weapons, and he's tested. Listen, man, I've been saying for let me see. Let me pull some receipts up, because I like to know how long ago it was I made this video. Now, look, I said a while ago. I said it a long, long time ago. How long ago was it? Jaron Ennis. Yeah, 6 months ago. About 200. April 13th, 2021. Jaron Ennis is the most skilled welterweight on earth. Will Spence, Ugas, Porters, and others avoid him. That's a video that I did back in April. So I've been on Jaron Ennis. I've been on Jaron Ennis. I think Jaron Ennis is capable of beating everybody, and I feel like the longer they wait for him to develop, and the longer they wait to make these big fights happen, the worse it's going to be. Because this kid's confident. If you're waiting for him to become undisciplined, if you're waiting for him to fall off, if you're waiting for him to do the Adrian Broner and go to jail or something like that, it's not happening. It's not going to happen. I'm not trying to be like the LWBC, but I think these sanctioning bodies are race motivated, because Virgil is ranked high in the WBC, WBO, and WBA, and those bodies' presidents are Latino, and the IBF is black, and he's number 4. Well, look, man, I'm not someone. like personally for me, I don't give a fuck about race, culture, or ethnicity, but others do, and I can't sit here and ignore that fact. You could be right. You could be right. You know, a lot of people in boxing are still living back in the 1930s, and they can't look at people for their actual character. So I don't put it past nobody, but I'm not gonna play the race card. But I'm not gonna ignore it either. Just not something I want to get into. But you could be right. Crawford would stop Ennis easier than he did Benavidez because he gets hit square on the jaw by bums. Woo. Well, hey man, there's only one way to find out. There's truthfully only one way to find out, and I want to see it happen. I think it's corruption going on with Virgil on these rankings because I don't know if he became fourth with the IBF and number one in WBC, and he's never even fought for a secondary belt in these organizations. And it's crazy because I was just talking to a fighter. I know a fighter that's ranked in the welterweight division, which is Mekboy Sanagov, who I recently just did an interview with, you know, from Tajikistan. He's actually ranked number 14th in the WBA, but earlier this year he was ranked number 12th in the WBA, and he's won like 2 or 3 fights since that fight, and I believe he's even won a WBA Continental belt, and he's actually dropped in rankings. So these fight like these rankings, there's no rhyme or reason, there's no science behind why guys get ranked, why guys get moved up. A lot of the time, it just has to do with our relationships between the managers and the governing bodies. And I hate that it's that way, but it's the cold, harsh reality of the sport of boxing. They better get to the other top. And remember, Spence can make you abandon your arsenal with his. He's a very good fighter. His hands don't drop. He's got great stamina. He's someone that's very, very just consistent with what he does. So I agree with your statement. But I also listen, Jaron Ennis. I know the lives about him, and I wanted to talk about him a little bit and just give my little thoughts about what I saw last night. But you know, Canelo Fight Week does start tomorrow. There's plenty of content that I haven't even touched yet that I got to edit and put out for you guys. But I wanted to touch a little bit on that Jose Cepeda versus Josue Vargas fight. Now, it took me all but 40 seconds to watch the fight because the fight didn't last that long. First of all, let me give a round of applause. Let me give a round of applause to Jose Cepeda. Let me give a round of applause to Jose Cepeda because Jose Cepeda is a fighter that's been inconsistent. He's been up, he's been down. He's said in the past that sometimes he doesn't believe in himself, but last night he believed in himself. And you know, you had a lot of people picking Vargas. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Even as the fight got closer, I was thinking, you know what, maybe Vargas got it. But my initial prediction was like Cepeda. You know, I just thought Cepeda was too strong for Vargas. And listen, I never really thought the most Jose Vargas. Jose Vargas, I always thought was a knockout loss waiting to happen. I saw him fight in person earlier this year when I was in Kissimmee at the Edgar Berlanga fight against Desmond Nicholson. He fought on the undercard. I just haven't been too impressed with Jose Vargas. And, you know, Cepeda, to me, he made a real statement last night. And he really showed the level in quality between a guy that's top 5, who's a top 5 140-pounder, and a guy that's a pretender at 140 in Vargas. And God bless him, you know, Viva Mexico. I'm glad he did it because Jose Vargas has been talking a lot of shit for a long time. I remember he was talking a lot of shit to Josh Taylor on Twitter after Josh Taylor won the undisputed title. You know, so he lucky Top Rank didn't put him in there with Josh Taylor because he would have really been in big trouble. But listen, we got our first super chat of the day. I'll get back to Vargas in a second. But shout out to my man Chief Red 4 with the $5 super chat. Make sure you guys super chat, get Sugar happy with them super chats. Let's continue to support the channel. He says, Ennis is the most talented prospect I've seen since Roy Jones Jr. He has the complete combination of skills and talent. Hashtag Akuma. Now, I don't know what the hell Akuma means, but I guess Akuma. Yeah, he's got peak athletic ability and he's got peak fundamentals, and that's what makes him so dangerous. When you take peak athleticism, peak fundamentals, and then peak discipline, you know, you get a special talent like Jaron Ennis. And I want to see him in there against either Butiev or Blair Cobbs next because those look like the most realistic fights. You know, obviously there's fights that I'd want to see more than those fights, but I gotta be realistic. He's not gonna get Crawford. He's not gonna get Spence. He's not gonna get Porter. He's not getting Virgil next. So just be realistic. He said Akuma is a character from a video game. It means overpowered. Okay, all right. So there you go. Listen, you guys. A lot of times I learn things about life and sometimes boxing from you guys. So absolutely. Yesterday was a bad day for Puerto Rican boxers. Bobby, my man Bobby out there in the Philippines. Listen, man, Puerto Rican. Let me tell y'all something about Puerto Rican fighters, man. Because look, I'm my as far as heritage is concerned, I'm part Puerto Rican. But let me tell y'all something about Puerto Rican fighters. Now, Puerto Rican fighters from the island and Puerto Rican fighters from New York, right now in this modern day age of boxing, are a disgrace to the entire island because they all have no chin, they all lack durability, and they all are worried about their outfit. They're all worried about putting blonde highlights in their hair. They're all worried about all this bullshit. And, you know, most of them are hyped. Like, to be honest with you, most Puerto Rican fighters from the island and from New York City are hype jobs, and I stand on that. They're like, there's no way you can convince me otherwise. The only good Puerto Rican fighters in boxing come from South Florida. And I know that's a bias. That might sound like a biased statement because I'm from South Florida, but it's a fact. Xander Zayas is a Puerto Rican fighter who was born and bred to fight in South Florida, who trains in South Florida. Same thing goes for next weekend. You guys are gonna see. You don't know who me up. You're gonna see next week on Top Rank in the co-main event. Luis El Chucho Melendez, another Puerto Rican fighter from South Florida. You know, I think he's one of the most underrated Puerto Rican fighters out there. But these like Puerto Rican fighters from New York and the island, they just don't got it anymore. I don't know what's going on in New York City, and I don't know what's going on on the island. But whatever it is, they gotta put it to a stop and they gotta tighten up because they're just not getting it done over there. They're not getting it done. Straight up, they're not getting it done. It was a horrible day for Puerto Rican boxers, for Dulorme and for Vargas. Two Puerto Rican fighters in the main event, or no, in big fights. One in the co-main event on one card, one in the main event, getting knocked out in the first round. Just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Joannis Sultan knocked out Carlos Caraballo 4 times, and yet all 3 judges saw it 94-93. I haven't even watched that fight yesterday, but I heard it was really exciting. So I don't really have an opinion on that fight, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it soon. Trust me, I like Boots, but I don't judge a fighter until he fights a guy equal level, overhyped. Then Crawford is going to find out first. Find out first what? What's he going to find out? That Sean Porter ain't beating Terence Crawford. That's not happening, champ. I've noticed Boots has never once mentioned Virgil Ortiz. I bet if he did, Virgil would oblige him. Probably. Wait, what you insinuating? He's ducking Virgil Ortiz? He ain't ducking no damn Virgil Ortiz. Listen, even if he called him out, that fight ain't happening because Golden Boy is not going to put Virgil Ortiz in there with Boots, and the people behind Boots aren't putting in there with Virgil until it's time, until the money's right. Just the way the boxing business goes. Slugfest says, my Cleveland brother Thomas Matisse is fighting on the Michaela Mir undercard November 5th. Well, listen, man. Hey, Slugfest, me and you might not be friends come November the 5th because he's fighting somebody from South Florida. He's fighting Luis Melendez, a good friend of the channel, someone that I think is, as you know, took a tough loss early in his career when he was kind of immature, but has matured into a good fighter, matured into a much better fighter. And I think it's a good fight. Matisse is tough. I've been very familiar with Matisse over the years. Ever since he fought, what's that guy's name? Rolando Chinilla. If you guys remember that fight on Showbox with Chinilla, he boxed brilliantly against Chinilla. Showed a lot of toughness, a lot of determination. Has had a couple tough losses. Like he had a tough loss to Isaac Cruz, lost to Will Madera, but he's been in these fights and he's someone to be reckoned with. And I think Luis Melendez has not been tested at that level like a Matisse. So Matisse has the advantage of ring experience. He has the advantage in being tested. But in my opinion, watching both of them fight, because I've watched about 4 or 5 Melendez fights, and I've seen Matisse fight about 3 or 4 times myself. I think Melendez is the more talented fighter, and my prediction for that fight, I got Luis Melendez winning by UD. I think he'll struggle early, but it's a hell of a fight. To me, like, look, for the 21-year-old you that are here, I know next week the focus is going to be all about Canelo Plant, and it should be because it's a mega fight. It's undisputed. It's history. But if you're looking for one fight next week that nobody's talking about, that's going to be a banger that you should tune into, go watch that fight as the co-main event on the Michaela Mir undercard. You don't got to really care about Michaela Mir's fight. I know a lot of people don't like women's boxing. I know a lot of people say women's boxing don't count. That's fine. But watch the co-main event to that card. Luis Melendez, Thomas Matisse. It's a sink or swim fight for both fighters. They're both fighters that have taken tough losses early in their career, And this is a fight for both these guys at 130 that they can ill afford to lose. You know, you got one guy in Matisse who comes forward and loves to slug it out against a guy in Melendez who I think is a complete fighter, a guy that can box, a guy that has speed, a guy that has power, a guy that has defense. It's a really good fight. What? Last time I checked, Ortiz himself and Robert Garcia literally said they think Boots is a harder fight than Bud, and they said they'll be ready in 4 years. They did say that. They did say that. You damn right. I forgot about that, but you're right. Listen, man. Look, these fights will happen when the money's right. You know, it's easy to get caught up on what he say, she say nonsense. But Boots and Virgil is not happening until that money's right. You know, so if you think it's gonna happen in 2022, guess again. If you think it's gonna happen in 2023, guess again. I don't think that fight's even a possibility until like 2024 at the earliest, to be honest. Sean Porter will beat Crawford. That's like saying Caleb Plant will beat Canelo, which is no way. Nah, Caleb Plant's beating Canelo. He is for sure beating Canelo. Yeah, he's beating Canelo. He's gonna outbox him. Yeah, man, it's your boy BT. Happy Sunday out there to everybody on the live. Let me know where you guys are watching from, what city, what state, what continent. As always, well, not as always, you know, but every now and then, you know, I'm reporting to you guys live and direct from the fight capital of the world, Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Love Las Vegas, Nevada. And I gotta tell y'all this. I don't know when, but I'm thinking like sometime in these next 2-3 years, I'm gonna wind up moving to Las Vegas. Vegas just pulling me in. I got a lot of love and a lot of friends out here in Vegas, and whether I want to admit it or not, this is the fight capital of the world. So I don't know when, but I think at some point in time I will be in Las Vegas. You know, every time I come here, I fall in love with Vegas a little bit more and more and more. Chief Fred with the $5 super chat again says, speaking of Pitbull Cruz, with the right training, he will be a force physically. He's the Mexican version of Tank Davis. Has the Tank Davis level talent. And the level of talent is about the same. You think so? I don't see. I mean, I don't know. I don't see it. You know, I was at his last fight when he fought Francisco Vargas. I think, you know, Pitbull Cruz is very tough. I think Pitbull Cruz is very fun to watch. He's a very good TV fighter. I don't think he has the quickness or the level of explosiveness of Tank. He's explosive. I don't think he's as explosive as Tank, but he's good. I know he's been discussed a lot recently as an opponent for Gervonta Davis because they're saying that Rolly is going to be out. You know, there's been a couple names that have been thrown around that people are thinking are going to fight Tank. You know, I've heard like Michelle Rivera is a name. I've heard, you know, Isaac Cruz is a name. There's a lot of names in the lightweight division that could be fighting Tank in the very near future if Rolly officially gets scrapped. So, yeah, man. You know, you just never know. You never know what's gonna happen in boxing. But you know, who's his trainer? I'm not sure. I'm not even sure who his trainer is. Who's his trainer? You know, if he could just get a little bit of finesse to go with the hard hitting style that he's got, I think he could be a lot better. But you know, Tank Davis versus Pitbull Cruz is not a whole lot of fights in terms of excitement. It's as far as like exchanges and excitement. There's not many more fights that are better than Pitbull Cruz and Tank Davis, in my opinion, at 135. As far as entertainment value, you know, you're gonna get exchanges. You're gonna have the Mexican fans there. You know, if we can't get Rolly versus Tank, which I was very excited for because I saw Rolly in training a couple days ago, and man, I think he would have had a great chance against Tank. You know, that'd be a good fight. Slugfest says, all Cleveland bias aside, I truly think that Porter beats Bud. No, we'll see. We'll see come November 20th. I'll be there. Funny enough, last night when I got to my seats, I sat down and this is like early in the card, and Sean Porter was trying to get down to the floor, and I actually crossed paths with Sean Porter. I shook his hand and whatnot. I said, "What's up, Sean?" And he said, "What's up, boss?" And he was pretty cool. I saw Sean Porter last night. Really cool guy. Hopefully, I get up with him before I leave Las Vegas. If you say that, then Porter will beat Crawford. Reverse psychology. No. There are two different fights, two different fighters. No. Montana versus Porter in the Cap Stadium would be fire. That'd be a great fight. It'd be a great Ohio. That'd be a great Ohio fight. I would love that fight. Montana Love, man. I'm very intrigued to see what Eddie Hearn winds up doing with Montana Love. Eddie Hearn has a horrible track record so far promoting American fighters. Not for nothing, man. Like, I'll keep it to myself. I'll keep that to myself, man. Eddie Hearn got me pissed off right now. I'm a bit upset at Eddie Hearn. Don't want to get into it, but I'm a bit upset at him. Chief Fred again with the $5 super chat. Shout out to him. He says, yes, Tank is a little bit quicker, but naturally there's some Tank. They're the same. Tank has better teaching, though Pitbull versus Tank will be electric. Listen, Pitbull versus Tank is a fight that I think will move the needle. It'll be a fight that I think will be one that people pay attention to. It's going to produce a lot of good exchanges. Tank will have someone in the ring that's going to come forward and not be afraid of him. So, make that fight happen. If we can't get Rolly versus Tank, then I think that's probably the next best option of the available options. Michelle Rivera, I like Michelle Rivera. I saw him last night. I interviewed him last night. He's a friend of the channel. He trained in South Florida. I like him. I'm rooting for him. I want the best for his career, but he is not ready at all for Tank Davis. He needs some more seasoning. He needs more, work as a fighter. Even though he's ranked, even though he's up there in the rankings, I still think he's like 2 or 3 fights away from even being ready for a Tank Davis. That's just my opinion. But yeah, Pitbull versus Tank. Make that shit. If we don't get Rolly, make that shit happen. We want to see that fight. Mike Rim says he's gonna be Canelo to the floor, and I think he's talking about Caleb Plant. And if that's what you're talking about, I'm right there with you, champ. What are your thoughts on Berlanga? I think Berlanga got as much as I like Berlanga. I think Berlanga got horribly exposed, and I think from this point forward, I think his management team, like what's his name, Keith Conley. I think Keith Conley is going to be very, very, very cautious with how they decide to move Berlanga. I don't think he'll be in any tough fights anytime soon. Funny enough, last night when I was interviewing Lionel Thompson, Lonnie B. Thompson, he actually said that Bob Arum told him that he's too dangerous for Berlanga, that they don't want that fight, that they don't want him to fight Berlanga because he'll expose Berlanga and beat the brakes off of him. But Berlanga has a lot of work. I think like this. Listen, this applies to all Puerto Rican fighters. So if you're a Puerto Rican fighter, you better listen up to me. If you're a Puerto Rican fighter training on the island, or if you're a Puerto Rican fighter training in New York City, you are a knockout loss waiting to happen, because the boxing scene in those places, the sparring you're getting in those places, is just not conducive to being at that top level. So get the fuck up out of there. Either come to the West Coast and come to Vegas, or come to South Florida, but get up on out of those places, because they're not good for Puerto Rican fighters. That's why they always lose against the Mexicans these days. What do Florida Marlins fans say before the bottom of the ninth? El Jefe, you keep talking. Listen, El Jefe, if you keep flapping your gums about the untouchable Marlins baseball empire, I'm gonna block you, champ. You better stop talking bad about my Marlins. I'm warning you. I'm warning you, champ. I'm warning you about talking shit about my Marlins. I don't tolerate that too long. So pick your next couple comments very carefully. In fact, hold on. El Jefe, I asked you the last time we were live. I said, El Jefe, who is your team? You never ever told me who your team is, and you're not gonna tell me your team because I know you're from Texas. I know you're from Oak Cliff. You probably cheer for those bum ass Texas Rangers that have never won a World Series. So before you flap your gums talking down about the Marlins, win a World Series first. Now, shout out to my guy Shakur. I still gotta call you, champ. I haven't forgot. I know I'm supposed to call you, but just been busy trying to call you, trying to make time, but it's just been very busy. But I'm gonna call you hopefully tonight. I'll call you. Maybe after this live is done, I'll call you, because I do gotta call you in Hiro. But he said, "Yo, BT, I hope you're good. All good. Nobody beats Boots. I ain't gonna lie. He's one of the best I've ever seen in terms of skill set. Yeah, he's amazing. He's an absolute, just great fighter, brilliant fighter, great mind, disciplined. He's going places, and he's going places fast. And I'm so happy I got a chance to watch him fight live, because watching him fight on TV is great. Watching him fight live is special. It's just special. Fantasy fight. Ruslan Bravanikov versus Maidana. Who wins, BT? Definitely Maidana. I think Maidana, if they were to fight, Maidana's, like the angles he threw from that overhand right will be there all night for him. And Provodnikov's a glutton for punishment, but you can't take too much punishment from Maidana. So I think Maidana wins that fight. Big Chop, what's good, Big Chop? He says Philadelphia, we the best boxing city. It's up there. Philadelphia is definitely up there. It's definitely one of the homes of boxing. I know a lot of people say they don't want to visit Philadelphia because a lot of people are scared of Philadelphia because it's a rough city. But I'll tell you this, man, Philadelphia is one of the top cities that I want to go visit. I want to go to the gyms there. I want to go to all the top boxing gyms like the James Schuler boxing gym and the what's the other gyms out there? You from Philly? Name me the top gyms out there, Big Chop. I want to go to all the top gyms in Philadelphia. I want to go to wherever Fred Jenkins be training fighters. The Dungeon where Jaron Ennis trains. I want to go there. Philadelphia I've met a lot of great people. I met a lot of great people over the years in boxing from Philadelphia. I just haven't gone there yet. So like Philadelphia, Detroit, these are cities that are hardcore blue collar cities where they're really about their boxing, and these are cities that I have on my list that I want to visit at some point in time. But yeah, it's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. It's your boy BT, just wrapping up the month with another live, man. Like, just wrapping it up with another live. Hefe says, I like the Yankees. Man, you're not from Texas. Your Texas card been revoked. Your Texas card has been revoked. You're not from Oak Cliff. You're not from Dallas. You like the Yankees, man. How are you going to be from Texas and like the Yankees? Do you got any sort of ties to New York City? He liked the Yankees, of course. Casual baseball fans, and don't even support his home baseball team because they're trash. Anyway, if you do support the Yankees, the Marlins beat the Yankees in the World Series, so I don't even want to hear it. But tomorrow's the start. Tomorrow's the beginning of the most anticipated fight week of November, probably of the entire year. We got Canelo Plant. Right now I'm chilling, but starting tomorrow, let the shit talking commence. The shit talking starting tomorrow. He said Warriors Gym, Pivot Gym. I never heard of those gyms. I know you got the James Schuler boxing gym, which is like one of the popular gyms. I know I think where Boots is trained is called like the Dungeon or something like that. It is what it is. Let me see. The Danny Garcia boxing gym. Yeah, the Danny Garcia. You got some good gyms there in Philadelphia. Let me see. I know these gyms, but I be forgetting the names. Yeah, the James Schuler boxing gym is a top gym. The Warrior Gym. Pivot boxing gym. There's another one. There's another gym that I can't remember. There you go. Front Street Gym. That's the one I was thinking about. Was it Front Street Gym, or is that the one that Rocky trained at? Is that even a real gym? Front Street Gym? We listen. At some point in time, True School Sports going to Philadelphia. BT, I watched your video and I couldn't believe you said he was better than DBBA. Who the fuck is DBBA? Who's DBBA? It's the end of the week, man. It's the end of the week, and I don't got time to be guessing acronyms. You need to just tell me who these guys' names are. DBBA. See. I'm sorry. The Marlins are so frustrated, man. The kid from the A's was supposed to change him. You're talking about Luzardo. Well, listen, he's still young, and his first like 4 or 5 starts, he was trash. But as the season went along, he pitched a lot better. So I think Luzardo will turn it around next year. By the time they got Luzardo, the Marlins were already not a playoff team. So you can't really say he's supposed to change the team in less than half a season. It's not going to happen that way. You're a Hornets fan and they ain't from Florida. I was born in North Carolina. I actually have ties to the Charlotte area. I got family in Charlotte. You probably don't know anybody in New York. It's different. Oh, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. Yeah, man. Well, look. The 2 times I saw Boo Boo in person, he didn't look that good. The 2 times I seen Boo Boo in person was Luke Keeler and Liam Williams. Like, he won the fights and he looked good, but he didn't look how like Boots was looking last night. Boots looked sensational. Yeah, the most underrated trainer is Boosie or Kevin Cunningham. I don't think so. I don't think Kevin Cunningham is underrated at all. He said I lived in New York for a time, so there you go. Okay, well, all right, fair play then, fair play. But still lost to the Marlins in the World Series, so it don't matter. It don't matter. But that's my team, man. I'm flying the flag high. You can say the Marlins have nobody in the stadium, but guess what? When they made the World Series, they had 70,000 people in the stadium. So I don't want to hear it. Ain't nobody in baseball had 70,000 people watch them play in the World Series. That's a fact. But yeah, man, I'll stay on for like 30 more minutes. I'm just gonna chill. We're gonna chill today, and then tomorrow, let the shit talking commence. We talking all the shit tomorrow. Right now we friends, but if you a Canelo fan, we not friends the whole week. Starting tomorrow, we not friends. Slugfest says I was born in Brixton, UK, and moved to Cleveland when I was 6. So you from the same parts of UK as Dillian White, Isaac Chamberlain, all them guys. Shout out to Brixton and shout out to Cleveland. That's another state. This the whole Midwest, like Ohio, Detroit, Philadelphia. Even though Philadelphia is not the Midwest, it's the Northeast. I gotta get to these cities and go to these gyms and see what the boxing gyms are about over there. Shakur says Randy Johnson. What you know about Randy Johnson, Shakur? What you know about him? What you know about him, Shakur? By the way, for those of you who are baseball fans, I was watching the Buccaneers Saints game. Now the World Series is on. Now the Atlanta Braves are 1 win away. They're 1 win away from winning the World Series. I've never seen the sorry ass Braves win a World Series in my lifetime, and I think I'm going to see it tonight. So I'm not too excited about that as a Marlins fan. But yeah, any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, get them down below, and I'll definitely answer them. Slugfest says I really want to move to Brooklyn or Kissimmee, Florida. You want to move to? You want to live in New York right now with all the crazy COVID stuff going on? I don't listen. Hey, God bless you. I never want to live in New York. Kissimmee's nice. Kissimmee's quiet. Kissimmee's, if you want a nice, quiet, slow lifestyle, Kissimmee, Florida is good for that kind of thing. Crawford has never been hit as much in his entire career as Ennis did against Uboff. I mean, listen, he that was by design. Uboff was a smaller fighter. Jaron Ennis knew that even if Uboff touched him, it wasn't going to be anything that would hurt him or get him to worry. So, Uboff's whatever. Uboff was whatever fight. But hey, we'll see. Do you think someone can start their own boxing promotion and compete with PBC, Top Rank, and DAZN? Well, to answer your question, truthful Jeremiah, I'm not sure if you've heard of that new company called Probellum, but Probellum, they got Richard Schaefer, they got a lot of experienced boxing people running the ship over there. They're gonna try. They're apparently backed by some Saudis, some people from Dubai. They got that Arab money, so they're gonna try to do that. They've signed Regis Prograis and Styonis and Ricky Burns and a couple of other name fighters, Donaire. So, do I think it can happen? I mean, anything can always happen, but it takes a lot. You got to have a lot of capital. You got to have a lot of money. You got to have good boxing people that know what they're doing, and you gotta be someone as the head of the promotional company that has good structure. They can keep the ship in order, because boxing's a very funny game, man. There's nobody's really that loyal to one another. It's the wild, wild west. It's dog eat dog. It's a business of a lot of promises. A lot of people like to blow smoke and say what they're gonna do, what they're not gonna do. So you got to make sure you have people that are good, that know what they're doing, and that aren't gonna screw you in the end, which is a lot easier said than done. Did the Bucks beat the Saints? How do you think the fight is gonna go between Canelo and Plant? I think it's gonna go with Caleb Plant getting his hands raised. I'll have my breakdown out Tuesday or Wednesday, and you'll get an idea of what I think. If I'm not mistaken, didn't De La Hoya get dropped before Ian became a world champion and later became 6th division champion and former pound for pound number 1? Stop trying to act like if you get hit, you won't be anything in boxing. I mean, shit. Before Muhammad Ali beat Sonny Liston, he was getting lit up and had a tough fight with Doug Jones. a fight that many people believe he lost. So listen, it's a fight. You're gonna get hit. To avoid getting hit in boxing is almost kind of like avoiding pain in life. Listen, I don't know how old everybody is here, but no matter how old you are, we've all gone through some sort of pain in our life, and pain and struggle and adversity is inevitable in life. So to avoid that in life, to avoid getting hit in the boxing ring is like avoiding pain and adversity in life. It's not going to happen. It's not going down that way, champ. It's not. If you're trying to avoid pain, adversity, and struggle in life, everyone's going to go through it at some point. Everyone's going to have a challenge every single day of their lives to overcome at some point. So just because somebody gets hit doesn't mean that they're not shit. Doesn't mean that they're not good. Doesn't mean that they're bums. Doesn't mean that they got exposed. People got to stop doing that. That's why these prospects don't want to fight anybody that's a threat until, the money makes sense, because boxing fans criticize them for getting hit hard one time and say they got exposed. Got to stop doing that. As far as the Bucks beating the Saints, I don't even know, man. I think the Saints won like 36-27 or something like that. Crawford got hit a lot before knocking out Dulorme, and Brook. And I thought Porter beat Spence. All bias aside, I scored that fight 115-113 even with the knockdown. Well, it is what it is, man. Oh, snap. Shout out to Hyro. Hyro, what's good, champ? He says, age doesn't matter. My favorite fighters I admire beat this fight, they were saying was the best in the division. Skills matter, like November the 6th. Hyro, tell them in the comments who you got November the 6th. Let them know, Hyro, who you got on the 6th, Canelo or Plant. So basically saying if someone is already successful, a successful entrepreneur, they can start their own boxing promotion and have a good team around the promotion if they got capital. Yeah. Whether you're a manager, whether you're a promoter, if you have enough capital and you have enough people to run the company that are box people, then yeah, like you can do that. But the boxing's not like, because like if I wanted to buy, let's just say hypothetically, right? If I wanted to buy the Miami Marlins in baseball, I would need 1.1, probably $1.6 billion minimum to buy the team, or get a group of investors that can get that to buy the team. In boxing, you don't really need that. You just need enough money to start an LLC, enough money to get a promoter's license, and then enough money to pay about eight to 10 fighters on the card, and you can set a promotional company. That's why, like in boxing, there's a lot of boxing promotional companies you guys probably never heard about. Like I'll name a couple of promotional companies you guys may or may not have heard of. You got Signature Punch Promotions, you've got Bad Promotions, you got M&R Boxing Promotions, you got Samson Boxing, you got Buka Boxing, you got TGB Promotions, you got DeBella Entertainment, you got there's a lot of boxing promotional companies, like smaller companies that do club shows, Pelts Boxing. All these companies I'm naming you guys, they have to have a certain level of money and capital to get started. Boxing is about money. You need money to start these companies. Nobody's putting these fights on for free. Someone's putting money somewhere along the line. Someone's investing something. Slugfest says Canelo. Okay, I got planned. Ennis will fight Bones for 5 years and then lose before his big money breakout fight like Wilder lost. He's not a PBC fighter though. You're talking about him like he's a PBC fighter. He's not formally signed to Al Heyman. He just has a working relationship with Al Heyman. Are you going to Teofimo versus Kambosos, BT? I'd like to, but no. I'm going to be in South Florida. I can't go to that fight because I'm leaving Las Vegas November 26th. And then I'll be home the 27th. And then I'm going to the Carolina Panthers Miami Dolphins game the 28th. So no, I'm not going to that fight. But I'll be watching. I'll go live for it. True School Sports Promotions. Nah, man. I don't ever listen. Let me tell you something. I don't care. I don't ever want to get involved in the boxing business as a promoter or manager. The most you'll ever get from me is if the stars align and the situation is right, maybe I might be like a co-manager. Like a co-manager is someone who doesn't have money, who just helps guide the fighter with the manager. The manager is the guy that has the capital, and the co-manager is the guy that just helps guide the fighter along. I might be a co-manager at most, but it would have to be like the perfect storm, and that's like a 1 in a million chance. I just don't want to ever get involved with the boxing business because I know how corrupt and how bad the boxing business is, and I'd rather just stay where I'm at right here. And the greatest Philly fighter, B-Hop, even lost his first pro fight and still become Philly's greatest. It's true. You're damn right. A lot of fighters lost a pro debut. Michael Bent, the world champion, lost his pro debut. Bernard Hopkins lost his pro debut. Lomachenko, he didn't lose his pro debut, but shit, damn near lost his pro debut. He lost second fight. He still became, in many people's estimation, the pound-for-pound fighter. BT, I'm right. When I'm right, I got a plan. When it comes to MMA predictions, I know what's good. I told you, Shakur, don't doubt me again. Yeah, Shakur, put some respect on Hyro's name. But yeah, shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire, reporting to you guys live and direct from Las Vegas, Nevada, the fight capital of the world. Hope you guys doing good wherever you're at. Make sure you smash the like button. You know, get trigger happy with them super chats. Yeah, man, just get your questions in. You guys got me for about 20 more minutes, and then I'm gonna head up on out of here because this room is hot as shit. I don't know what's going on in this room, but it's hot as hell in here. Hold on, let me get some water. Let me get some water. Give me a second, guys. Getting thirsty in here. Hold on. Yeah, get them questions and I'll come back. Jesus. All right, I'm back. I'm back, guys. I don't know what it is with this room. It's hot as hell in here, but I gotta do the live in the room right now. Let me see. You're going to that fight, and are you vaccinated? If you don't mind me asking. No, I'm not vaccinated, and I'm never getting vaccinated. Y'all hear me, right? I'm never getting vaccinated. So if you catch me if a fight requires you to get a vaccine to go, I'm never getting it. There's no reason for me to get a vaccine. I'm fully healthy. My immune system is good. I don't abuse it with drugs or alcohol. I'm taking very good care of my body. So the likelihood of me getting COVID is very slim. Not saying it can happen, but it's very slim. As far as which fight are you talking about? You talking about Canelo versus Plant? Because I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to that fight. There's a small possibility I might go to Canelo Plant, but I don't think I will, to be honest. But it's a small possibility. Did you expect Zepeda versus Vargas to end early like that? No, I didn't think it'd be in a round. I mean, I eventually thought that Zepeda would stop him and break him down, but not in the first round on one of the first big punches of the fight. The only person that can beat Shakur Stevenson is Boo Andre. Yeah, him and maybe Jaron Ennis. How do you find a superstar boxer when you're trying to be your own boxing promoter? Well, as the promoter, you got to have people that are good evaluators of talent. Let me tell y'all something, man. There's a lot of great fighters in this sport that slip through the cracks and that don't get power promotion, and that could be superstars, but because they don't get power promotion, they become whatever fighters. There's superstar caliber fighters all over gyms in America. You just need to have people behind you that can identify them and have the capital to invest money behind them. You know, so just if you seek, you shall find. When you have your own boxing promotion, is your fighters fighting against PBC and Top Rank fighters? Yeah. I mean, at some point in time, you will have to fight one of those promotional company fighters because There's so many fighters signed to those companies. These companies have such an influence on boxing and big fights in boxing that it's unavoidable, you know. Did Vargas lose because he's too green or because he was overconfident? Was it a technical issue or was it just levels? It was definitely a technical issue, and it was definitely levels. First of all, I never thought Josue Vargas was all that good to begin with, and second of all, it was a technical issue because he has this bad habit where he'll throw a jab and he'll slip to his right all the time, and he never throws a jab and has a left hand up to cover or to parry. So that was where he went wrong. He went wrong because, you know, he has a pattern of boxing. Cepeda picked up on it, and he threw the right shot, and he landed the right shot when he had to. What are the chances that Spence vacates the IBF when Ennis reaches mandatory spot for the belt? Extremely high, very high. You're gonna hear things about him being weight trained, yeah, all kinds of stuff. So I would say it's a good chance. Edward Moore says Boots will stop Errol Spence and Terence Crawford 100%. He's too fast, too accurate, too big, too strong, and simply just too good. And you might be right. I think he's more than capable enough to beat both those guys. Did you hear about Jose Ramirez ring return? Will it that it'll be against Pedraza on February 5th? I did hear about it. I heard about it on my way to the arena yesterday. I think it's a good fight. I think Pedraza's settled in the 140. So Pedraza's gotten some good wins in at 140. And it's one of those fights where, like, if what's his name? Ramirez is still a top fighter at 140, he'll win this fight. It's a good comeback fight for him. Do you think $2 million is good enough to start a boxing promotion? For a small boxing promotion, yeah. Like, I mean, because you got to figure what. Yeah, $2 million could probably start a boxing, a local club show promotional company, like at the level of like a Peltz Boxing or like a something like that. You got to have capital, man. I'm talking like to really run a big time boxing promotion company. You're talking about you need like 10, 20. You need millions upon millions of dollars. I don't know the exact number, but you need more than $2 million. Errol Spence is holding that division hostage. Just vacate the belts. I mean, listen, he may never even box again, truthfully speaking. So, yeah, I mean, he's had his mandatory for a lot of years at Abdul Kakarov, and he ain't even fought Abdul Kakarov yet. So, once he's gonna do that, you know, Boots will not be beat. I'll bet 1,000 pounds. I ain't gonna lie. Only fighter that could beat him is Terence Crawford, but I want to see him versus Boots versus Ugas or Thurman. Boots is gonna be a tough guy to beat him. And anybody that beats him has got to be something special. Forget Spence and Crawford. Can Ennis even beat Porter? Yes, he'll beat the shit out of Porter. Porter don't want to fight Boots Ennis because Porter's on record himself. He said it himself one time that he's not worried about fighting Boots Ennis because he's worried about fighting the guys from his era. So he's already telling you straight away he don't want no smoke. So, you know, I like Porter, but Porter already said I'm not worried about fighting him because I'm worried about fighting the guys from my era. You know, and that's code for I don't want no smoke. If Boots is only getting lower PBC fights, I want to see him against El Azteca or Maurice Hooker. Those would be some good fights. You know, two fighters that, you know, have name value that people will definitely be intrigued to see him fight. Porter does fight the best, but he's not trying to fight Jaron Ennis. I know he's fought the best. I respect him, but he said it. He don't want no smoke because he's focused on his era. You know, so make it that what you will. Oh. This is crazy, man. The Braves are really about to win the World Series, bro. If they win tonight, that's insane. But yeah, there's a lot of good fights out there for Boots in boxing. Personally, for me, I think the two most realistic fights are Butiev and Blair Cobbs. You know, Blair Cobbs, who called him out last night, and Butiev. Yeah, listen, I was there last night. I was beside myself. I was beside myself the fact that he stopped Dulorme, because Dulorme is a good veteran. Dulorme knows way around the ring. Dulorme is not easy. You can't trust Atlanta though. Well, look, listen. I'm going for the Astros. I need the Astros to win this series. I'm not trying to see the Braves win a World Series. That's like disgusting for me. Disgusting to think about. Porter is honest because Thurman said, "Who's that?" Yeah, well, he said that. Another welterweight named Harold Calderon. He acted like he barely knew who Jaron Ennis was. A lot of these guys are acting like they don't know who Jaron Ennis is, and then they say, "I don't want to fight him. I want to fight champions. I want to fight champions." But you got to fight. There are certain guys you got to fight to get to the champions, and he one of them. So, stop being scared. It's just boxing. Ennis is great offensively, but he needs a few tweaks to defense. I think so. I think he do too. I think he do. People think I'm stupid when I say Plant is gonna win, saying who has he fought. Well, hey, we're gonna see come Saturday. Saturday is Judgment Day. Saturday is the moment of truth. I got Caleb Plant by UD. I'm gonna keep saying it the whole week. Caleb Plant by UD. 118, no, not money. 116, 112 in a really fun fight. Isn't that what boxing fans should? Isn't that what boxing fans should want? Is to fight champions? Yes, but like some guys, you can tell they only say that when there's a guy in their division who's a prospect who they know they can't beat. So it's an easy out. I want to fight champions, but you're not a champion yourself. So work your way up, like all the other great fighters. All the great fighters. These fighters say that they love growing up. These guys had to work their way up. They didn't just get to fight champions because they said they wanted to fight champion. I agree. He only got hit 3 times against Thomas Dulorme. If you think Boots doesn't have defense, go watch the Armando Alvarez fight. I agree. That was a defensive masterclass. Beautiful fight. Probably my favorite. Might be my second favorite fight. Now it was my favorite Boots performance, but last night because I was there, last fight because I was there, that's got to be number one now. I think Canelo will KO TKO plan in 5 to 7 rounds, but no one can ever pick boxing 100%. I can't wait till Saturday night. They can't. And look, the fact that Caleb Plant has a style he's got with the attributes he brings to the table, we know Canelo struggle with that style. So there's still that chance that as easy as people think this fight's going to be, it can be equally just as hard. And that's why I'm going to tune in. That's why you're going to tune in. Now, look, I might go to the fight. It's a slim chance. I don't think I will, to be honest with you. I think it's extremely slim, but there is a chance from what I've gathered and stuff. Can't really get too deep into how I might go, but I might go. If I don't go to that fight, we will be live for that fight, and we will have former WBO Super Bantamweight champion Angelo Leo on the live with us. So if you want to ask Angelo Leo any questions about his career, what he's got going on, you don't got to ask me no more. You could ask the man himself because he'll be on the live with me. He's already agreed to it, and he's very excited about it because for those of you who watch the channel, you may remember we had Angelo on here last time when Josh Taylor fought Jose Ramirez, and that was a hell of a live. So lot of great things happening here on True School Sports. Next week, at some point next week, I don't know when, but I'm gonna have a big announcement come next week. So make sure you guys definitely tune in next week. There will be an announcement. I can't really get too deep into what it is, but it's gonna be something that I think you guys are happy about, and I'm very happy about it. And yeah, absolutely. I just hope Andre Ward showed Caleb Plant some dirty tactics. I believe he showed him all that and more. He showed him all that and the kitchen sink. And look at this, man. Look at these punk ass Braves, man. The Braves got 2 guys on base, second and third, 2 outs. What's that? Who's that? Eddie Rosario? Fuck Eddie Rosario, man. I predict boxing really good. The only fights I picked wrong was Taylor versus Ramirez, Tank Barrios, and Pac versus Ugas. You picked Barrios. Well, I can't criticize you. I got some picks wrong too, but you picked Barrios to be Tank. I mean, I got Pac versus Ugas wrong too, but I didn't get Taylor versus Ramirez. I got Taylor versus Ramirez extra right, and I got Tank versus Barrios extra right. I got Shakur, Stevenson, Herringwright, Eddie Rosario from Puerto Rico. Hyro says, I know the announcement. BT is partnering with Probellum. No, that's not the announcement. I wish though. You know what? I might reach out to Probellum. What you guys think? Should I reach out to Probellum? Get that Probellum money? I'm gonna reach out to Probellum. See if we can get some of that Probellum money. Jaron Ennis will defeat Charlo at 54. I think so. We saw how much problems we had with Castano, a pressure fighter. Imagine a guy who can do all the things Castano could do and then some, with the angles and the speed and the versatility and all the things that Jaron Ennis is bringing to the table on a nightly basis. He's telling you, man, he's the candy man. He's coming. He's absolutely coming. BT, Isaac Cruz might be Tank's toughest test. Well, he hasn't had a whole lot of tests yet, so that's not really like a crazy statement, but you could be onto something. That was because at the time Tank never fought a tall guy power. Plus, I admit I'm not the biggest fan of Stank Davis. Hey, well, I get you, man. Listen, I get where you're coming from, but Barrios just isn't the guy to do it. I can't believe Jamar only fought once this year. He's protected. He's a protected, overrated champion. One of the most protected fighters in the entire PBC stable and in all boxing. If Lopez fights Taylor and beats him, does he go to 47 and fight Crawford or stay at 140 and defend his titles? I think he'll stay there and try to make a name for himself at 40. Really establish himself before he considers a move at 47, because that's a big move. Jaron is special, but I'm going to hold off. Crawford is going to make a statement. He just needs to get the guys in the ring. Now, I agree. I absolutely 100% agree. That was a hell of a prediction. One of my best predictions was I picked Luke Campbell by Ryan Garcia. Oh, no, I picked Ryan Garcia to stop Luke Campbell in the 7th round, so I got it pinpoint accurate on the dot. All PBC champions are protected. Wilder, the king of PBC protection. That boy was before he fought Fury, he was in a witness protection program. And then, you saw what happened. At least he made some good money. Made some good money. Went out on his shield. Enhanced his profile. God bless him. Why does everyone want Team Canelo's ass? Why does everyone want Team Canelo ass? I don't know. They just like Canelo. My best prediction was Castano beating Charlo, but it went south. Yeah, see? In boxing, that fight's a great example of why I don't bet on boxing, because think about it. If you would have bet on that fight, that's one of them fights where you were right. Like, you were right, but you were wrong. Like, you were right because it should have played out that way, but you're wrong because of the no way. Oh my God, are you serious? Wow. Adam Duvall just hit a grand slam for the Braves in the World Series, and guess the Marlins traded him to the Braves. So the Marlins helped these motherfuckers win a World Series. If they win a World Series, I'm gonna go on a tirade on social media and go off on our female general manager who doesn't know what she's doing. Swear to God, man. Sometimes, like, I'm sorry, this might sound sexy, but sometimes you can't send a woman to do a man's job. We shouldn't have no damn female general manager. She traded Adam Duvall to the Braves, and this man just hit a grand slam. Oh my God, bro. Fuck. It's just because, look, it's just because he's the biggest money maker, and he's got this invincible aura about him right now because he's picking the right fights. All it takes is one fight for him to look bad, and he's not gonna have it no more. That would be crazy, and I'm picking Munguia to win, but I'm hoping Rosado can pull it off. And I predicted Sims would beat Elvis, and I said Montana in 7. You did. I was here. I was here for them fights. Slugfest. So you don't gotta tell me. But look, man. On that note, guys, like, look, I'm tired. This room is hot as shit. I'm about to pass out if I talk any longer. It's been a great month of October here on True School Sports. We're looking forward to a greater month of November. So just continue to support the work. Check out all the content on the channel if you haven't done so already. I got a lot of interviews coming out here in Vegas. I'm going to be very busy, man. So I'm working really hard to provide you guys great content and just give the boxing fans great things to look forward to. Barring any sort of crazy developments, I should be live this Saturday for Canelo versus Plant. We're gonna have Angelo Leo on the live with us. So if you got any questions for Angelo Leo, you can ask him. Tomorrow's Canelo Alvarez fight week with Plant, so should be a lot of fun. But look, I'm gonna get up on out of here. You guys take care. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed rest of your Sunday. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.